Hi, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Paramananda Prabhu, Radha Sundari, Sevarupa.
You were sitting under the Gauranga bridge.
Yes. Early morning.
Wasn't that built by the Russian engineers?
I guess so.
They got some security. Soviet Union at that time, I think.
Every day after Mongol Arati, everyone would go there. Every day.
Japavok.
And after that, everyone would return to have a class.
Yes, we used to take a bath in the Ganges, right? The same shore as the Mat, but right there, literally next to the bridge.
Yeah.
And sometimes some devotees.
But I think on the other side.
The Mat side, maybe. Oh, yes. That's the reverse picture. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Hare Krishna. So Pranesha, you're the MC today. I mean, you always MC, but today you're the special.
Yes,
MC.
I notified on Facebook that Maharaj is not attending because he has a program in Latvia. Mm-hmm. So we are waiting for more devotees to join, so we can surprise Maharaj. Because actually Maharaj said, let me tell you exactly what he said. He said, he is looking forward to hearing the recording as everyone has so much to give and share. So we have
let's see if they're coming to share. You should have actually kept it secret, because really Maharaj wants the program to go on.
Yes, but everyone will share. Everyone has something beautiful in their pockets, as Maharaj says. He's always asking. And Dandi Maharaj and Jivana, they are so nourishing. And Lila Moy and Rupanuga, everyone has something to give.
Yeah, but now that you scared them off, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Oh, there's Rupanuga.
Yes, welcome Lila Moy Prabhu and Rupanuga Prabhu. You see, they are slowly joining. But we are already 10 here. Gauranatharaj also.
Oh, the stars appeared.
Yes, that is Chintamani. So
Chintamani
I would like
is a wish-fulfilling gem, always sparkling.
Yes, indeed. I would like to invite Lila Moy Prabhu to please do the Vandana, because he's an expert now.
Dhanyavad. Now or after?
Yes, right now. Wait until Jivana joins. She's just coming in. Let her have her audio connected. Yes, so welcome
Jivanera, Jivan.
Yes, Prabhu. All
right. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakambitam Scha Om Gyanatimindasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militanjana Dasmai Shri Urave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripasinubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavandanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Ghora Trise Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sharigora Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Hare Krishna. So very special. I have a question. Who has a homework that is still pending? Because Lila Moy Prabhu, he shared something so very special, and I posted on that class on Facebook, but nobody else posted anything. So I wonder if you have something to share today regarding that homework. Total silence. Nobody's breathing. Let me share. I'm going to share Lila Moy's because it was so concise, so absolutely perfect, so beautiful. That please open your microphones because it will take me some time. I don't have it on the desktop. Paramananda Prabhu, please.
Yes, please.
I'm going to look for his flyer because it's a really good one, very concise. But while I look for it, can you please tell us something about that request of Srila Madhusudan Maharaj?
Oh, I spoke about it already. I already pointed out what is my favorite. That was, I think, one of the previous meetings.
Yes,
So
yes, but everyone had to supply some.
I did escape,
from
actually.
their...
I kind of did the homework and at the same time escaped. I've been too clever. I just talked my way out of it, basically.
But we are pulling you back in.
But,
so please tell us something about it while I look
how about I can read you a verse by Saraswati Thakur from a
very
beautiful
good. That's a
song,
very nice way to escape.
Beautiful song called Vaishnava Ke. Who is a Vaishnava? Really a very nice song. Good to sing every day. Can be sung together or in your mind, in your heart. But one of the concluding verses is Braja Basi Gana Pracharaka Dana Pratishtabhishu Katarana Hisava Prana Achetara Sehitu Prachara Pratishta Sahina Krishna Gata Saba. The most valuable treasures amongst the Lord's preachers are the eternal personalities residing in Brajadam. They never occupy themselves with begging for worthless material reputation, which is cherished only by the living dead. The Brajabasis are truly infused with life, and therefore they preach in order to give life to the walking corpses of the mundane world. All the songs that the Brajabasis sing about the glories of Lord Krishna are devoid of any tinge of desire or fame. And Srila Govinda Maharaj quotes it in one of his talks. It is actually recorded on video. He's just talking to devotees in Calcutta, discussing different subjects, and advising devotees to read Brahma Samhita. And then he smiles and shakes his head. And those who want to know, they will know. And those who don't, it's okay. Because when I was young, he said, all we knew is that there is Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan. And Srimati Radharani is his dearmost servitor. And also she is most dear to Krishna. That's all we knew. We did not study the Shastra. We didn't have any difficulties with Siddhantic questions. He said, and during the Guru Maharaj, time. We just serve at the temple, try to fulfill Guru Maharaj's desire and to satisfy him. And he said, my attitude was not to look for gyan, not to look for knowledge, not to search for it. He said, when something would come in front of me, I catch that. And I use that in service. So Srila Govinda Maharaj said, in order to be, he says that since we started going to the West, we're receiving so many questions that really wasn't a situation with us when we lived with Guru Maharaj. No one asked too many questions. If Guru Maharaj is giving something, sharing something, we're taking that. If he is not sharing, we're just happily serving as usually. But then the responsibility came to me, and then I needed to go out to the Western countries and answer so many questions. The devotees there have so many questions. And then I started reading a little bit more and remembering what I heard from Srila Guru Maharaj. But Govinda Maharaj pointed out, in order to be a preacher, actually I don't like that word. What's the proper word? Jivan, you know any better words for that? I don't like missionary too so much.
Hey,
Jivan,
Maybe
can you help
distributor.
Distributor.
Mercy distributor.
Okay. Distributor will do. Yes, distributor will do. Because actually the Sanskrit word is prachar. Means to distribute wildly, take it to the masses, to share with people. So yes, what we're doing, we're sharing something that we value in our life, something that helped us. And we think it's so precious, so wonderful, so beautiful, so sweet. That we want to share it, regardless of our situation. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur points it out in this verse that really those who are the best preachers, they do not study the Shastras. They live the life of devotion. And the same word Srila Govinda Maharaj says when he quotes this verse in his talk. He is saying the best preacher is the one who lives the life of devotion. Just by being around him, people get inspired to become the devotees of Krishna, get inspired to acquire that devotion because it is so attractive, so beautiful, something they're searching for a really long time and just not knowing where it to be found. And Govinda Maharaj says that it is the perfect mood. It's all in the mood, the mood of devotion, the mood of surrender. That's how we should proceed in our devotional life. Kirtan. And Kirtan, it's all-encompassing, and we're actually Sankirtan. Sankirtan is all-encompassing. All activities, all the people who get together, includes everything, including distribution, propagation, missionary activities. So that caught my attention one of the mornings recently when I was listening to Srila Govinda Maharaj. Yes, Praneshwari, you got something on the big screen.
Very good. I'm going to share the flyer that Lilamoy Prabhu prepared, which is so beautiful, so concise. Only 3 words, encompassing everything. Lilamoy Prabhu, can you read it, please?
Yes, faith, chastity, and sincerity.
Very
Okay,
good.
Lilamoy Prabhu, we're going to carry that and going to give these flyers away. And I'm going to be, let's just say, an innocent person who is passing by and you're giving me a flyer. And I will read faith, chastity, and sincerity. I have some faith in Jesus, or I have faith in my company, or I have faith in the government, or I have faith in this group of green people who are fighting for the climate change or something like that. So I will ask question, natural question will come. So faith to whom? About what? Chastity to whom? Sincerity. What's the point of sincerity? To whom? That will be my question. What will be your answer?
Great question.
So
now it's need a perfect answer. And this answer is not coming from me.
I just got the flyer, excuse me. That's a big responsibility to give away the flyer. Now you have to preach to me. Just pretend that I don't know anything. Actually, I don't know anything, so you don't have to pretend it.
Yes, I chose these 3 words because I was reading a small part in the Revealed Truth, and Sri Siddhar Maharaj once a small story. A very poor man wants to take initiation from Sri Siddhar Maharaj, and this man didn't have any money, just a few rupees. And Sri Siddhar Maharaj said to him that he doesn't need his money. The only thing he wants from this poor man is his faith, chastity, and sincerity. This is the only thing he needs. And after Srila Govinda Maharaj said that Maya, it's really strong in our life, in our path. And by the faith, chastity, and sincerity, we can cross over Maya. And by surrender, fully surrender, we can proceed in our spiritual journey. And yes, I read these two small parts, and I remember too that in a few programs, no, not few, a previous back to basics, Gurudeva was talking about that, and I remember about these 3 things. Now the answer, I don't know, Prabhu. I'm unprepared. I'm not ready to give this answer.
Well, little more, you give the flyer. Now you have to
Yes.
be responsible, say something. Convince me the necessity of faith, chastity, and sincerity. To whom?
Right.
Forget you're talking to someone who is a little bit familiar with Krishna consciousness.
Yes. You have to have faith in something. And this something, it is the superior. We have to have faith in the supreme personality of Godhead. He's the giver of all, right? And by this faith, we should be chastised to him, to not to try to focus our faith in this supreme personality of Godhead. And the name is Krishna, right? And by doing that, we can proceed in our spiritual journey, in our life, right? And being sincere about this chastity, if we are having enough faith and chastity in Krishna, we can proceed. I don't know if you understand. I don't know if it's a great answer, but I tried.
It's a beautiful answer, Lilamore, but I have to say, if I'm on the street right now talking to you, just looking at your effulgent, smiling, and happy face will be enough for me. Whatever you say, I will accept. That's just from my personal experience. People were attracted by the personalities. And whatever, they were so much attracted that naturally, instantaneously, they developed some trust. And whatever you were saying to them, they were kind of accepting, they were agreeing, yes, yes. And they just kept looking, I just want to be like you, basically. You know, standing here in the middle of the street of this busy city, lots of stress, lots of many things, not so pleasant things. And then you are smiling, happy. I want to be like you. So please tell me how to become like you. And then whatever you say is wonderful. And they actually said wonderful things. So it is perfect.
I want to buy one of your books. Your books.
Yes. Is there a phone number or an address? Are you guys gathering somewhere, you know? Maybe weekends? Sundays.
Yes,
I
yes.
heard that Hare Krishnas have some Sunday feast, and it's really good, and it's free too.
Yes, maybe we have some here. If you want to try.
Well,
Definitely want to try.
Chintamani says, I would buy whatever Lilamoy Prabhu is selling, for sure.
Hare Krishna. Here you go, Lilamoy.
Okay,
Success.
I tried.
It looks like Lila Moy Prabhu is that kind of devotee that you mentioned just 5 minutes ago. Like when you preach, people just get attracted, and by his connections with Madhusudana Maharaj as well, I think gonna be attracted automatically.
The one who is living the life of devotion is the perfect preacher, in the words of Srila Govinda Maharaj. Yeah. No
There
doubt.
is a correction from Chintamani. The words were from Jaidev Prabhu.
Did Jaidev say something?
Jaidev is the one who said that he would buy anything that Lilamoy is selling.
Oh yeah, Jaidev is saying yes. Promote, to propagate. Yeah. Prachar. Hare Krishna. So, Praneshwari, we're in your hands.
Yes, yes. Sevarupa, she is going to put in the chat what she wrote, and she's going to read it. She didn't have the time to compose a slide, but she's going to share with us.
Dandavats.
Dandavats.
Okay, so yes, I'm not as, didn't prepare so well. I told Pranesh I only scribbled it on some paper. But I think I'm not going to read the Sanskrit or Bengali part. I'll just do the English. But I do have where I got it from. So the first one I took from Bhagavad Gita. I think it's 4:8, which says to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. That stood out for me because it was like a reason why. Okay, that's just one. And then the next one I also got from Bhagavad Gita is, for the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. And then, where was this from? Okay, I've got you. If one seeks refuge in him just once, he awards fearlessness to that person forever. It is my pledge that if anyone just once sincerely petitions me for shelter, saying, I am yours, then I grant him courage for all time to come. It was just ones that, yeah. And then, of course, the Trinadapi Sunichina. I jotted that one down. And this is, I think, from the songbook, which also stood out for me. Oh Lord Hari, I have spent my life uselessly, having obtained a human birth and having not worshipped Radha and Krishna. I have knowingly drunk poison, from Sri Narottam Das. Okay, I think I just have 3 more. So then, what assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons, family members? This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari. And then Lord Gauranga calls, wake up, sleeping souls, wake up, sleeping souls. You have slept so long in the lap of the witch Maya. That's from our song. And the last one I put down is having faith that everything is obtained by serving the Supreme Lord, abandoning subservience to even scriptural injunctions and taking shelter of the feet of Sri Krishna exclusively is known as Sharanagati.
Happens to be your spiritual master favorite verses too.
Yeah.
I am on the streets and I see you with your flyer and you give me one and I'm surprised. So much information, but I don't have a clue. You mentioned Maya. What is this Maya? What does it mean?
Maya is the illusion that we, all in. So like if I was just chatting to you, I'd think of like the Matrix. It's a movie, and to get unplugged, from just the rat race that we're in daily. And, sometimes you just want to take a breath of fresh air. You want to, we all go into nature to be revived. So if I want to explain to you what Maya is, it's like, the illusion that we are chasing something that's going to make us happy, something that we're going to, all want to just relax on an island somewhere. And in this life, that carrot that's dangling in front of us, I could probably explain that as being Maya.
And you mentioned another word that I didn't understand at all. I don't know whether I know how to pronounce it, but what I remember is Sharanagati. What is that?
So Sharanagati is surrender, and surrendering onto something. Sorry, I'm gonna struggle here, but something that's on a higher consciousness that we understand. So it's like when you love something, in having understanding love is like part of surrender. If you love your kids or you're in a relationship, that surrender to that, like you do anything for the person that you love or for your children. So if I was just commonly trying to explain that, I could explain it as so if you understand that there is that also through love you do surrender, so something to that effect.
So we surrender to you mentioned
Krishna.
God,
So
Krishna.
Krishna, yes.
Who is Krishna? Beautiful name, but who is Krishna?
So that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you want to say the Lord of Love, yes. So Supreme Personality we say because we having a personal relationship. It's something personal, as opposed to us knowing that God's there, we have some guardian, but we want to have a personal relationship with God.
Thank you so very much. Prabhu Paramananda Prabhu and Jivana Didi, I feel just like a hen with the little chicks around. It's just like, oh my God, I'm so proud of these kids. I'm so extremely proud. Beautiful.
Well, Pranesh, that makes you sound really old, you know that?
I am. I'm ancient.
Well, I look at Jivana, she's probably the senior most, and she always looks ageless.
Because
as long as I remember,
ageless.
first time we met maybe 20 years or so ago, you still look the same. So don't sound like a very old person. But Sevarupa's talk reminded me about a challenge I faced. You challenged Sevarupa. So I'm also facing a similar situation one time, and I think Priyanani can relate to that place. It's near Krasnoyarsk in Siberia. There's this huge, enormous, the biggest at that time, aluminum factory. and a mining area nearby with about 25,000 workers there. So we're specializing, we're going into the factories and trying to get shifts. Sayanagorsk, here. Right, nearby Abakan, that's right. Yeah, between Krasnoyarsk and Abakan. And we're trying to get people on shift. So one shift is roughly about 5,000 people, and we'll just get them into this meeting hall. And I had to say something. And I had only 5 minutes because really their shifts are very short. They're just doing it for us. And it takes time to make that arrangement too, because really nobody wants to break the work and the workflow and everything else. Precious 5 minutes. And I remember when I first time standing in front of this 5,000 people, this huge hall, just feels Soviet style, grand cultural hall, so-called cultural hall, filled with people to the roof. And I'm thinking, I'm on the stage and I'm a young brahmachari with a set of books, I'm holding them like that, and I'm thinking what I'm going to say. And then suddenly I'm realizing how helpless I am. And to the point, my knees started shaking. It's the first time I heard the expression. It's the first time they actually started shaking. And I just wanted to disappear. And I just fully understood my uselessness and that I'm probably the obstacle. I'm not even an instrument at that point. I'm an obstacle between these people and Krishna, between these people and Mahaprabhu. And I prayed and I prayed. Maybe that was the only moment of surrender in my life. And I pray and I say, Krishna, there's nothing I can do to convince these people to become Krishna conscious or buy the books. So please, you can do anything. So I prayed really intensely. And it was like, I prayed probably for a minute or two. It felt like a whole life was spent in that prayer. And then all I could say, and I was completely at loss of words. I lifted up Bhagavad Gita in one hand, other hand holding the rest of the books. There were about maybe 10 at that time, slowly been printed out in Russian language. And I said, these books are about Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you are his children. And to know more, you must buy these books and your life will change forever. It will become beautiful, it will become wonderful, filled with love. And I said something along those lines. And that was it. And then there was a silence. And I was ready just to die right there on the spot. Oh. And then suddenly, one by one, almost all, literally 4,000 something hundred people all sign up to buy the books. And I can only explain it as a miracle. And then there was a moment when I actually started believing in God, that Krishna is there, really, he is there. And especially in the moment of a need like that, he is there. And he reciprocates according to the degree of your surrender to him. And he says it in Bhagavad Gita. So as much as you surrender to me, then I will reveal myself to you. And really, without him, it wouldn't be possible. And shift after shift, but did 3 shifts, same thing happened. So I also faced this kind of challenges in my life, and absolutely realizing that I'm a hopeless and helpless without the Lord's grace, without the devotee's grace. I did pray to Prabhupada too, by the way. And now it's time for Jivana Didi to share.
Yes.
She's our senior most propagator, distributor.
Just pitter-pattering behind all of you, because in spite of the fact that I'm senior or whatever, been around a while, I still really just live because you all are giving so much nectar to everybody at every moment all over the world, which is amazing. And I didn't, I'm not really on Facebook, so I don't think I saw what the homework was. So I probably didn't do any, not knowing what it was.
Well, Jivana, it's pretty much a flyer, a design of a flyer, a few words on a flyer that would convince people to become Krishna conscious. Very simple.
Oh, okay. So of course, what Lila Moy did was absolutely spectacularly beautiful, especially when he explained it. And then the verses that Seva Rupa did were amazing. And then I was thinking just early on, she mentioned the verse that, the soul is unborn, undying, and eternal. And I'm always thinking how people, they don't know who they are. And for that, they can never become happy. And everything that they do is like, it's just a show that's always ending. And so if they can have some, I would really like that verse. That's what I would, if I had a flyer, I would definitely put that on there in addition to chastity, sincerity, and faith, that you are actually an eternal servant of the Lord, and you are actually not this body. You actually live inside the body. The body is a shell. The body is your car. It's your jacket. And you are a real person inside, and you can uncover that person and become so happy and fulfilled. And if so, I would definitely put that on the flyer. I liked everything actually to be on that flyer, but the flyer has to be very concise and very short, because we live in short attention span theater around here. And like you only have the 5 minutes for people. If you even get 5 minutes with somebody, sometimes that's more than you're going to get. But to do something so direct, that this book is about Krishna, it's Bhagavad Gita, read this and find out about your real self. So I'll have to think a little more how we would put that on a flyer.
That's a good one, Jivana. About we being not the body, never dying, cannot be destroyed, cannot be pierced, cannot be drowned, burned. And that nailed me, actually. That's it. That was the verse, by the way, Sevarupa. When I bought Bhagavad Gita and I'm on a train reading, I was convinced. Whatever. Then I flipped again the front to read what Srila Swami Maharaj was saying. What should I do? But I just wanted to know, what should I do now? Right. He says, okay, you have to follow the principle, you have to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So I arrived home already converted into chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It actually happened. I'm like a living example of that. So it's a powerful verse.
Yeah.
And that's where you start, I think, Jivana.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very, I'm always feel really that people you just have to understand. That's a really important thing to understand. Prabhupada would always say that for so many years, you're not this body. And to really be honest, so many years, I didn't really get it. What? I don't really get it. It took so long for something to sink in, but actually it's so simple and sublime and good to understand, and then can build so many things after that, on top of that.
There's actually a beautiful explanation of Jiva position and the Guru Maharaj's explanation of Gayatri Mantra, when he's saying how Jiva is the actual light that illuminates everything. We can see everything by the power and by the light of the soul. Whatever we can conceive of, it's done by the power of the who we are actually. It's self-illuminating. And then, of course, he takes it further to the spiritual world and Srimati Radharani glories, and how she is the main, the illuminator of everything that we need, the most divine, the most sublime aspects of Krishna consciousness.
Can I just ask a small question?
Of course.
We were talking about like preaching to one who is not connected, but such verses, I mean, sometimes we even sing Bhajahu for newcomers, and then they read the translation, and I think want to like, not attract, but like repel them if they read such words, like just first time coming and then read all these and like you should leave, or like this life is like a drop. I mean, for the newcomers, isn't it better to, for example, sing something, so to say, positive, like oh, my mind just dance. Or there are some kind of people who are attracted by, I mean, it's just Paramananda Prabhu mentioned, some seriousness and like, you will all go, what will leave, something like this. What's better strategy for preaching?
Well, there's a verse, Brahmana Brahmide Kon Bhagavan Jiv, famous verse, which actually describes that we are there as an agent. And we can say, oh, no, I'm not mad, I don't have an enemy. We do have, trust me, we got something for sure. And if we didn't see it, so our Gurudev stashed it in our pockets without us seeing it. And then we're just put the hands in the pockets. Oh my goodness, where is this whole wealth coming out? Who stashed it in there? So we do have it. So to be a good recipient of that, you have to be a searching soul, that Bhagavan Jiv. You must start asking questions. So Sukriti, Srila Govinda Maharaj always speaks about it. And Srila Guru Maharaj points out the importance of Sukriti, how important it is. I haven't heard about it when I just joined at all, practically. And then Srila Govinda Maharaj would often answer, why is this happening? Not Sukriti, or not a lack of Sukriti, etc. So those people who are approaching, Krishna is already guiding them in their heart. So he's guiding them to his representatives, the devotees, and they already have that question in their heart. So really, you can be attracted by something. Like I was attracted by halava, basically. When I came to the gathering of the devotees, I was completely repulsed by the whole thing. But halava was very nice.
Jai.
And I saw so many things were absolutely weird and kind of hardly acceptable. People were doing weird things, I'm telling you. As a newcomer, I still remember that day. But when they give me Mahaprasad, especially halava, I thought, whatever they do, I don't care. I kind of like Hare Krishna. I'm already singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's fine with me. And if they can give me this, if they're going to give me this food, like every time I come, oh, sign me up. Well, I do whatever you want. I mean, it's free will, but I just want halava, and I don't mind to sing Hare Krishna. And I love Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter. I answered all my questions. So it's like that. It's all in the hands of the Lord. But at least we can try to be presentable ourselves. So again, it comes to the point, the mood of devotion. If we have that mood of devotion, then people will be attracted. We will be that magnet. We will be chosen to be used by Krishna, by our Guru Varga, for propagation, for distribution. And that will be our good fortune, to be used, like Srila Govinda Maharaj pointed out. I used you, I used you, I used you. 3 times he said that. I used you, and then he added, the 4th time was, I used you in the service to Guru Maharaj. Because when he said, I used 3 times, I used you, and I had like a big question mark in my, I've been used. And then he wanted to see my face. I'm telling you, this is Govinda Maharaj. And then he smiled. I used you in the service to Guru Maharaj. And then that's the moment when you feel, oh, how fortunate I am, how blessed I am. So if we can make ourselves the recipients of that, then we can be useful in this wonderful Leela of the Lord and the Leela of the Lord's devotees. Well, in that sense, we're all connected. And nothing happens without Krishna's will, but we've forgotten about things. It's our natural propensity, it's in our heart. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhu Kabunoi Sravanadi Shuddha Chitte Kore Udoi can be awakened by the association. Just stick to the devotees, be in their company. Tishtam Brajetat Anuragi Jananugami Rupa Goswami Kalam Nayata Kilamitu Padesha Saram. The essence of all the advices: stay with the devotees, be around them, hear what they're talking, watch what they're doing, eat what they're eating, help them, serve them. And that desire will naturally awaken in us, desire to serve them, because we will be receiving something wonderful, and that wonderful substance will transform us. So here we come to the point of die to live, surrender, sharanagati. We're leaving our interests, our world behind, and we're accepting Krishna in the middle of our life, his entourage, his associates, dearmost associates in the middle of our life. Their interests are our interests. We're not living for ourselves, we're living for them. So that's die to live. But wonderful. I mean, we're not talking about the physical sense of dying, but it happens naturally. It's the world of death. Everyone dies, and people are still making a big drama, and everybody's searching for immortality. They want to stay, they want to be, live as long as possible, to prolong the suffering as long as possible. Again, like Jivanadidi said, it's coming, it's just because of basic absence of understanding who you are, actually. All those coverings, the mental coverings, the ahankara, the ego coverings, the subtle coverings, the gross coverings, the society, the culture, whatever. We have so many, we're like a cabbage. Like, when I was a kid, I always liked that middle part. I don't know what's in English. The middle part of the cabbage is the most tasty one. So by the time you get there, but sometime I have to confess, as a kid, we'll just go to the, the Soviet Union had these fields, it's all state-owned. So you just go and steal some cabbage. Kids always do this kind of stuff. And then you peel the leaves, and then till you get to the middle, it takes some time to find out. But if somebody is there, they can cut it like Srila Govinda Maharaj expressed in his poem, Ami Guru Dasa Nahi Anya. I'm just a servant of the Guru and nothing else. He said, if Maya will put some obstacle, I will cut it asunder with the faith and conviction in the lotus feet of my Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj. So that person comes and then cuts it in two, and then you get the middle of your cabbage right away without wasting so much time. That's how devotees function. They come and tell you, you are the jiva. You never die. You know that? Oh, good news. Really? I never die. Really? Yes, but you have to understand that this body is just like the cloth, like we all preached to, and I remember on the streets, clothes getting old, getting holes, worn out. We take it away, we throw it away. We're not keeping it. We're not attached to it so much. Sometimes a little bit attached. We wear it till it's really old and there's nothing you can do. Like people really attach to their bodies, they want to live forever. And then the good news is that you will get another one, but it's not really good news. Actually, it's better if you don't associate yourself with this mundane environment. So slowly you take them there. And if they have enough sukriti, they will understand. So many devotees join. I don't know, you can ask anybody, how did they join? And they will tell you what attracted them. It's always a wonderful, inspiring story to hear how devotees are joining, because we want to hear, we also want to know that we're not alone. There are others. Sometimes you think, oh, maybe I'm just crazy. Look around, lots of normal people around, and there's a small group of devotees, and they're thinking, oh, maybe it's something wrong with me. And then when you're in the group of the devotees, you say, no, nothing is wrong with me. I'm on the right path, actually. It's just we're somehow stuck in a big mental facility. And while you are quite sane, when a sane person going to the mental facilities or mental hospitals, the inhabitants, they're thinking, oh, there's a crazy guy coming. Well, it can be likewise too, but somehow this is our situation. That's why we're trying to, it is always underlined the importance of association, the higher association. We want someone who actually knows what's going on. They know what kind of world awaits us. They know what it means to be eternal soul. They know what it means to have connection, friendship, loving relationship, parental relationship, servitor relationship with Krishna. They know how it feels like. We want to be connected with them, because through them you can also get a little bit of a taste and attraction to that. And when you're actually facing that reality, you will be absolutely overwhelmed. It's hard to even talk about it because I don't have any experience. Like theory, I can talk about it. So let's ask. Well, Jivanadidi, I kind of, came in the middle of your sharing. So is there anything else?
No, that was really perfect. And I just made me think about did you ever hear that it was an essay that Socrates wrote about the cave dwellers, people living in the cave, and they're living in that cave, and all they know is all these shadows, and from the fire, there's all these shadows and everything. And it was kind of comparing our life to that people just don't even know what's up and what's down, and they're very afraid to ever leave the cave. I can't remember the whole purport, but it was Socrates was quite famous because he had a little bit of realization that way, that we're not this body and we're meant for something higher, or we are something higher, but we need to get there. But
also the frog in the well story, the boy
frog in
born
the well.
in prison, never seen a sun.
Right. But there's something so beautiful there. But I don't know. I always like how you say, because I always feel like I don't have the capacity to have that kind of realization. So I always like the songs and the kirtans of Narottam Das Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because they painted how we actually, at least how like I actually feel like I really am, just dragged around randomly all over like a crazy person, and then just being able to connect with the devotees and feeling like there's some substance there and some hope to make some progress and actually have some faith, chastity, and sincerity in my heart, for real.
I was thinking, Praneshwari, with your permission, if we can also ask Chintamani and Jayadev. They're a dynamic couple and always bring so many new people connected
Actually,
to Krishna consciousness.
Yes,
Totally.
I was going to invite Chintamani first because she was the one who was wondering about the flyer and the homework. So I thought she was the first one to prepare the flyer.
I let me go get her. She's in the other room. She doesn't know she's in trouble here. Sweetie.
Meanwhile, I just want to thank Paramananda Prabhu and Jivana Didi. And yeah, it seems like little halava goes a long way. But also, when I think it's a good idea to tell people that they already have Sukriti, that's why they're here. It will they will feel connected, and the Lord exists at once. Like there is no something happened by chance, but already something brought up. Thanks.
That's part of your flyer, Priyanana.
Yeah, that's a fact, actually, Pranam. That's why they're there, because of their security. And halava is dangerous. Keep that in mind. Chintamani.
Oh, she doesn't know the question, or she doesn't know what is being asked, though.
Oh,
I mean, how do you manage to attract so many new people to Krishna consciousness? That's the question.
I don't feel like I really do that much. I just kind of blob around and I'm just struggling really like in my own world with my mind and my senses. And I do things to just make myself feel better, which, hey, this helps me. I go hang out with this Zoom group. I do other things. I completely space out from it too when I walk away from my phone, but I keep myself occupied by, I don't know, sharing. Actually, this is what most people I've been bringing have all been other friends that I met on Zoom from, there's this group called the Wisdom of the Sages. I've never listened to their podcast, but apparently like a lot of people, like they bring a lot of new people. And then I meet them at the 12-step program, Bhakti recovery group that they promote. They tell people like, oh, you're struggling with your addictions, which I do. And so then I go to these 12-step meetings, and then I sometimes in fellowship meet a friend, and I'm like, oh, well, if you want to learn more about the mission I'm connected with, and then I give them a little one too, because they have some experience with Srila Prabhupada. And then, so I learned in a marketing class that you just, it's like called a warm audience rather than a cold audience. So like a warm audience is someone who already likes Bhakti, who already likes Srila Prabhupada. And hey, it's not very hard, just come on over and meet this group. You're really going to like them. Hare Krishna, thanks for letting me share.
Oh, that's just perfect.
And actually, on that note, that's actually my kind of position too, is I go to yoga studios where people are already seeking. They just haven't found Krishna consciousness yet. They haven't found Bhakti. They already like kirtan, but they've heard kind of the kirtan that's out there in the West, which is little different. And so they're already warm, and they already are looking around that field, and they already are getting some taste, but they're not satisfied. And then I bring them, I bring the philosophy, knowing the yoga philosophy, I bring Krishna consciousness to them in a way that speaks to where they are and just nudges them a little closer. I don't say, you're not this body, whatever, but I might introduce them to the idea that everything is a personality. I notice that people, and you'll know people will nod their heads. For example, or I'll say, establishing God as a person. I don't describe it in detail, but this concept of a personal God, it's where everyone is in the yoga world, they just need a tiny encouragement of that. And they're like, yeah, God is a person. I relate to that. So I just, in the simplest way, these people are just so close already. And because they're doing these practices, their hearts are already open. And of course, because we're doing kirtan, and I'm the guy up there, then they're used to being in a yoga class, so they trust that guy up there that he's the teacher. And so then they accept what you say, and they come closer that way. Actually, in Varun, we got at a Mayavadi ashram. We were giving the bhakti class for the Mayavadi guru. He liked our presentation of bhakti because, again, you do it so you know how they think, and you kind of work with so I can preach to Mayavadis very nicely. I mean, they won't become devotees the next day, but they'll like what I'm saying because I know how they think. I've been there. So Hare Krishna.
Also, Jayadev, our fortune, Govinda Maharaj once expressed, somebody mentioned the Mayavadis and the West and how dangerous they are. And Govinda Maharaj smiled and said, actually, it's Kali Yuga. There is no dangerous Mayavadis in the West. They're not strong enough in the West. In India, yes, you can find some. So, good point. Yes, saving the sincere souls. And Chintamani on addiction, actually, it's a part of the human nature to be addicted. One addiction is destructive, self-destructive. Another is actually enlivening. So we just need to refocus our addictions and get addicted to good things. That's why Srila Rupa Goswami points out, accept favorable, reject unfavorable. Develop that addiction for Krishna name, Vaishnav Seva, deity worship, Sadhu Sangha, Bhagavad Shravan. This is actually an advice in the scriptures. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavad Shravan, Mathura Vasa, Srimurti, Shradaya Seva. Here is our good addictions, and that's what we can focus, because we like to fight with things. But actually, Guru Maharaj said, do not fight with the environment. It's always friendly. Just acquire a proper angle of vision, and that's actually a proper practice of religion. And you guys are a perfect example of that. And who is the little guy over there?
This is Ollie. He wanted to come and get a blessing from the Vaishnavas and not miss out on this opportunity to hear the Vaishnavas. He's our client's dog. We have him very regularly.
And she's more of a Hanuman Bhakta, but she's a Vaishnavi. I talk to her all the time, and I tell her, we see you as Vaishnavi. You're just a Ram Vaishnavi. You love Ram. She
gave us this picture of Hanuman. I just think that's so sweet, from the Neem Karoli Baba Ashram. It's on our fridge. I'm not sure how bona fide that is. But I wanted to give a shout out to Ganga Leela Didi, because I met her at ISKCON in San Diego like 10 years ago, and she connected me to Bhakti Recovery Group, and she connected us to Divine Grace Yoga Ashram, where we stayed during the pandemic and did seva, and just want to give her a shout out. It helps to know good people, right, on the path.
And about Hanuman picture, put him somewhere high up. Not fridge is maybe a little bit too disturbing for Hanumanji. A little bit high up is good. Yes, every divine personality we're offering our respect to, especially he's a perfect example of Dasya Rasa, Hanuman. And related to that verse that Sevarupa Didi wanted to put on the fly, Sakritava Prapana Tavasmiti Chayachiti, Abhayam Sarvadatasmai Dadati Tam Vratam Mama. Once you do that, once you give yourself to me, I will never forget you. And Srila Govinda Maharaj used to say it to us. You come to me, I accepted you. At least some surrender is there in your heart. You may leave me, but I will never leave you. That's Govinda Maharaj's promise. Praneshwari Didi.
Beautiful, beautiful. Savarupa, please read the translation of that last shloka in the Ramayana.
And it's the same one that Paramananda
I
Prabhu
know, but he interpreted very beautifully.
Yes.
But please read the text.
Text. Okay. If one surrenders unto me, sincerely saying, my Lord, from this day I am fully surrendered unto you. I always give him protection. That is my vow. Ramayana Yudhakanda.
Just as Paramananda Prabhu said, that is a vow of Srila Gurudev. He is there for us always, always. So we must be for him. Of course, the intensity will never be the same, but at least the intention of surrender unto him.
Yeah, Praneshwari, while we were talking, Preeti Mondal came. Dana is here as always, very humbly, very quiet. Gangalila Didi. Chinmoy at work. And my hands are very itchy to ask Chinmoy, but it says at work. Means don't, basically another way to say do not disturb.
And Bhagavan Das in Venezuela also joined from the
Bhagavan
beginning.
Prabhu, yes. Oh yes, Bhagavan Prabhu is here.
Dandavats, everyone. My dandavats. Yeah, I'm in a noisy environment, so.
Thank you, Chinmoy Prabhu. Thank
That was
you.
pretty quiet environment, I have to say. Didn't hear any noise in the background.
Sometimes noisy, sometimes not.
And Radha Sundari also from the beginning. He was connected.
Anyhow, Praneshwari, we're just trying to follow the footsteps of our dear Madhusudan Maharaj.
Yes, and he said, I'm going to listen to recording because I know that everyone has something to share. So all of you did so beautifully. Thank you so much. Every one of you is so filled with this devotion that just comes out naturally. You're wonderful preachers, wonderful people, all of you, each one of you.
And just gathering, whatever we do in our life, we're doing it for the satisfaction. It should be that way, for the satisfaction of the devotees. Happily so. We were talking about, the other day, Maharaj asked the question, devotion and emotion, what's the difference? And there's obviously an emotional attraction to personality. When we speak about the Guru, what is the substance that Guru is sharing? What is the main purport of him being here is expressed in his Vani, in his instructions. What he is saying is the most important. And of course, the personal opportunity for personal, the physical seva to his manifested form is also very precious, but really the instructions are of utmost importance. So if we are putting the instructions of the Vaishnavas on our heads and trying to satisfy them that way, trying to follow their instructions, their guidelines, then they will be satisfied the most. And that will produce, again, a devotion as a result. And some emotional attraction can be there, but really we have to always constantly adjust ourselves. Proper adjustment, continuous, constant, proper adjustment.
Yes, and that's why we have this wonderful guidance, because teaching by example, that's what we are getting when we have Maharaj with us. So it's so important.
So can I read that verse, the opening verse?
Yes.
Today's one more time, and then we can offer our dandavats to each other. The most valuable treasures amongst the Lord's creatures are the eternal personalities residing in Brajadam. Again, the most valuable treasures amongst the Lord's creatures are the eternal personalities residing in Brajadam. Just think about it. Not someone who is quite successful here, achieving some devotion due to his practices, but nitya siddhas, eternal liberated souls, are coming down to us to help us. They never occupy themselves with begging for worthless material reputation, which is cherished only by the living dead. The Brajabasis are truly infused with the life, and therefore they preach in order to give life to the walking corpses of the mundane world. All the songs that the Brajabasis sing about the glories of Lord Krishna are devoid of any tinge of desire for fame. And then faith, chastity, and sincerity. That's the requirement of Srila Govinda Maharaj from his disciples. He said, all I require from my disciples is faith, chastity, and sincerity.
Yes, and I want to share because there is a new Zoom meeting that will start this Saturday, the 17th. Srila Govinda Maharaj video series is going to be discussion group on Zoom. It's already posted on Bhakti Connect with the link, the Zoom link. I believe it's moderated by Vishaka Devidasi, but based on the wonderful seva that Chimoy is doing. This series is very organized. The captions are very precise. So it's very, very nourishing, very beautiful.
Wonderful. The timing is not so wonderful though, for the Asian group of devotees.
Yes, because it's exactly at noon. Yes.
No, it's not noon.
But there is
After
recording.
midnight.
No, I mean, it's at noon in California.
Oh, yes.
So, yes, it's midnight. So, well, at least they're recording and you can comment later and ask questions. Thank you so much.
Who will be chanting the concluding auspicious invocations following the footsteps of Srila Madhusudana Maharaj? Sevarupa Didi.
No, I think you, Paramananda Prabhu.
Actually, we have to ask a senior Vaishnav, who is Bhagavan Prabhu.
Bhagavan
Prabhu can give,
he just
can
opened the
give
camera.
Ki Jais, Prabhu.
Probably about this. My connection was very good. Prabhu. I was not able to hear too much about it, but now it's getting a little better.
We're asking you to give Ki Jais for the concluding part of our program, Prabhu. Jai, Jai, the Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Rakshana Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai, Jai Sumita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudana Maharaj Ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Sri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, all the wonderful Vaishnava Acharyas, Sannyasi preachers Ki Jai. Oh,
Hari Hari.
Dhanyavad.
Jai. Jai Paramananda Prabhu Ki Jai.
And not to forget, now we will start mentioning everybody. So it will never end then. So we're bowing our heads down at the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas that we know and we will know in the future and the Vaishnavas of the past. I think that will do it.
Yes.
Otherwise, Gurudev said, if we are to give dandavats to the sannyasis every time you see them, then who is going to do seva? You're just going to be laying down on the ground and doing nothing because they're everywhere.
Leela Moy is going to offer a special dandavats to Madhusudana Maharaj, right, Leela Moy?
Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudana Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Prabhu Ki Jai, Jivana Didi Ki Jai, Prameshwar Didi Ki Jai, Kriti Dana, Radha Sundari Priyanana, Sevarupa, and Praneshwar, and of course Jai Dev. Chintamani with lots of stars.
Jai, Hare Krishna, beautiful. Thank you so very much. Wonderful association.